theme, that's our church's theme, and that's what we've been talking about. What does it mean to be all in for Jesus? What does it look like to follow Jesus with all of our lives? So we've been hearing from different people about how God's put a specific conviction on their heart, or how God has changed them to actually live for Jesus for real, and not just talk about it, not just sing words, but actually do it. And so Heather is somebody who is doing that and has just really, God has moved in her life in cool ways, and so she's going to share about that with us tonight. So we're excited to have her. So come on up, Heather.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Should I use the mic?
That's awesome.
Good? Good? Okay. Alright, so yeah, I am Heather. Just like really quick, just to let you know where I'm at right now. I'm at Missouri Western. I have one more year left of my master's. I just finished up playing my last year of basketball. And 3 years prior to that, I played at Oklahoma State. So anyway, that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Tonight I really want to focus on talking about surrendering our whole lives and our whole hearts to God. And that's just something like Kristen said, like that's what I think being all in for God means and looks like. So you know, I think sometimes we compartmentalize our lives into areas that you know, are with God and without, and you know, whether we do that when we realize it or, you know, subconsciously or whatever. I think every area and every part of our heart should be surrendered to God. You know, God is a really jealous God, and He doesn't want us to idolize other things or other people in our lives. So when we surrender everything to God, there's just so much more joy and so much more that we can find. So anyway, before I really get into everything, I want to read a couple verses. The first one is Luke 9, 23 through 24. It says, "If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will save it." And then the second one I want to really focus on is Colossians 3:23. And it says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men." And as I just tell my story and go through things, just keep these two verses in mind and how they relate to my story. And not only that, but how they relate to your lives and your stories and that kind of thing. So anyway, I have been a Christian since I was a really young age. I grew up in a great home, grew up going to church at Colonial, and had a strong relationship with Christ. But in college is where I just grew in my faith in an enormous amount. Out of high school, I was recruited to play basketball to Oklahoma State, and I was completely on cloud nine. I was so excited and so blessed with this opportunity. And there are so many supportive people and family and friends that were really excited for me, but there were also a few people who doubted me and doubted that I could make it at that level. And some of those people didn't hesitate to let me know that. And one that was just really discouraging, but those were the voices in my head that I took to college with me. And going into college, I just was trying to prove those people wrong. My freshman year was a pretty normal freshman year for a college basketball player. I didn't play a whole lot, but I wasn't too discouraged just because that was pretty normal for a freshman, and there were a lot of other girls that were going through the same thing with me. My sophomore year was a little bit better. I got a good amount of playing time. I started a few games, and I was feeling really good. You know, there was definitely its ups and downs, as always, but I was feeling pretty good and was really positive about, you know, the season and everything like that. But after season, all my coaches sat down with me in an individual meeting, and pretty much tore down every part of my game. As far as, you know, scoring and passing, there's like a list of a bunch of stuff, and they pretty much told me I wasn't good enough in any area. And talk about like a hit to your pride. That was extremely difficult to hear, because I had been working so hard and putting all my effort into this. And then not only that, they continued to go on and they attacked my personal life, and they told me that I spent too much time doing church activities, and I needed to focus on basketball more, and I wasn't dedicated enough. So anyway, that was just really hard to hear. I was super frustrated. So I dove more into basketball, and I put all my effort and all my time into extra workouts and working hard, and like I just put all my effort into that. And no matter what I did, I still felt like a failure. I was so discouraged, and I just felt like I couldn't measure up to my coach's expectations, and I was continuing to try to prove them wrong and prove those other people wrong from high school, and I just felt like a complete failure. But the fall of my junior year, things seemed to start to get a little bit better. I seemed to be playing better. I was getting stronger. I was getting faster, and I was really excited for the season. I thought, okay, like this is my year. This is it. This is for me. All that stuff. But in November, my teammate and one of my really good friends, she was 5 months pregnant at the time. She had a miscarriage. And my athletic trainer and I were the only ones at the hospital with her because she was out of town. And this was just a really emotional experience for me. I had never been a part of anything like that. And it was just really hard to get through. And not only that, it was physically draining because I stayed at the hospital with her and got about an hour's worth of sleep. And so I was just totally emotionally and physically drained. And then 2 days later, we found out that my head coach and one of my assistant coaches passed away in a plane accident. And this is really hard. Just not only the two things separate by themselves, but them together in such a short amount of time was really difficult just to understand and just to get through. But anyway, as the team and I, we're trying to get through this. I'm trying to be a rock. I'm trying to be a light for other people. And so we start thinking, we try to start to get things back to normal. But things for me just seemed to get worse. And basketball just went completely downhill. I started playing less and less. I couldn't seem to do anything right. And I was really frustrated. It pretty much got to the point where I wasn't playing at all. And my coaches were not only not playing me, so I was frustrated with them at that, but they were being rude to me off the court. They wouldn't talk to me anymore, and I didn't know why. So I was just really frustrated, and essentially I just kind of gave up. And looking back at it, that wasn't the right thing to do, but I was embarrassed, and I was frustrated, and I just stopped caring because I just started to build up walls, and that's how I just dealt with it. But anyway, after the season was over, I decided that I was going to quit basketball altogether, just after 3 years. And I justified it in my mind, and I justified it to other people, saying, okay, like I'm graduating a year early, like I'm ready to move on with my life, and I'm just kind of burnt out on basketball. And who could blame me? I've been playing basketball since I was 5 years old, and I just told everyone, God has blessed me with this wonderful opportunity, and I've learned so much, and I've grown so much, but I'm ready to put that part of my life in the past. But God had a different plan for me. There was a coach from Oklahoma City that was just recently hired at Missouri Western that knew my coach at Oklahoma State. And he kept calling, and at first he wanted me to play for my last year of eligibility at Missouri Western. And at first I was like, no, sorry, like thanks but no thanks, I'm not interested. But after about the third or fourth time he called, I was like, okay, maybe I should start to think about this. So I started to pray about it and decided, okay, well, I might as well go on a visit. It won't hurt just to go on a visit, see if I like it. And I went on this visit, and God just showed me and revealed to me that this is what I was supposed to do. There are so many people and so many things that, really revealed to me that this was going to be a positive experience, and this is a really encouraging thing in my life, as long as I gave it up to God, and as long as I made basketball about Him and not about me or about other people. So I decided to commit to play, and then a few months later I went to an FCA camp, and I learned so much about what the world defines as success, and what God sees, and there's a huge difference. And I realized that I idolized success, and I idolized basketball, and I idolized achievements, and I was playing for other people. I wasn't even playing for myself. I wasn't playing for God. I was playing for other people. And I based my emotions all on my achievements, and it ended up dragging me down. And I just learned at FCA Camp, like, you can't ever measure up to worldly standards. There's always going to be something or someone to compare yourself to if you're not working for God. And I didn't surrender basketball to God as His. And I thought it was just enough to share the gospel with my teammates and share God's love. And while it was definitely a good thing, I wasn't completely surrendering my heart to God. And so it wasn't enough. So anyway, I want to reread Luke 9 real quick, just so we have it fresh in our minds. It says again, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will save it. We are called daily to die to ourselves and follow Christ. And I think this is just a huge thing. Like, I don't know, dying daily to me means it's not easy. If it were easy, you just do it once, bam, you're done. But God calls us to die daily and follow Him. And it's just a call to trust God and to know that He's in control, even in a situation that we don't think is ideal or successful in our eyes or the world's eyes. So anyway, I committed to play basketball, and while doing that, I committed to give up my pride and give up my status as a Division I basketball player, which was really hard for me. Like, it was definitely something that I had to spend a lot of time with the Lord with, and I struggled for a little bit, but I ended up giving every part of my heart to God, and I found so much joy in that. I just discovered, that I could have fun and I could relax while playing, and it's something that when you're playing for an audience of one, when you're playing for God, it just changes your whole demeanor, your whole purpose, and you just find a totally different joy in that. So anyway, one thing that really got me through my 3 years at Oklahoma State was the verse Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans for hope and a future." I just think this verse is truly amazing, and it's just awesome that God has a plan for each and every one of us if we surrender to Him, and if we surrender all that we are to Him. He wants all of us. He doesn't want this part of your life. He doesn't want this group of friends. He wants every little thing in your life. And when we do that, we realize how much satisfaction and joy that we can have through Christ. So anyway, one last thing I want to leave you guys with. I wrote this down in my journal a while ago, and I don't know really where it's from because it's just something I jotted down, but it just completely fits perfectly with all that I talked about. It says, when we die to ourselves and completely surrender to Him, there's a surprising side effect to dying. We discover true life. In a twist of irony, we find that giving up our lives gives us the life we so desperately wanted all along. So, that is it.
Thanks, Heather.